So, hey, good morning, everybody. I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be here today. I got to tell you, I'm really excited. We have two special guests here that are going to be presenting InstaBrain. The first one, Meteena Wilson. She is the Chief Operations Officer for InstaBrain. I am so honored, so blessed to have her on the call,
Oh,
to get a top person at a company to come and talk with us and tell us why we should be representing them. That is huge in my opinion. So
we're excited
thank
to
you.
be here, John. Yeah.
I'm so excited to have you. And then we have my close friend, Neil Sabah, who was recently, well, maybe not how recently, promoted is the vice president or a vice president. I don't know if are you the vice president, Neil, or are you a vice president? I don't know. Whatever. He's a top doggy. He does wonderful, wonderful things, and that's why he got promoted at Brokers Alliance, and that's who we've partnered with on the InstaBrain platform. Is with Brokers Alliance. See, the beauty of our industry is a small IMO like ours, and I do consider us a small IMO. We're not the type of IMO that recruits every agent, doesn't have 1,000 agents. We have a little over 70, between 75 and 85, agents and agency owners and partners that we work with. We're small. We don't necessarily have all the resources and so forth to be able to keep up to speed with today's technology. And that's what Neil does for us. And that's what Brokers Alliance and our other partners do for us. And that's what InstaBrain does with us. And that's without having to sacrifice any commissions to you in the field or anything like that. So we're really excited about this partnership. Now, many of you know that we've worked with InstaBrain a little bit in the past, but they've made some major changes about how they do their underwriting and how things get through the system. Plus, we need to clarify a little bit to you as the agent as to how to get through that process faster. So I really wanted to I don't know what you want to say, is I just want to reintroduce you to InstaBrain again, because I truly believe, and we're going to be talking about this over the next couple of months, I truly believe that the living benefits term platforms, the living benefits products, are going to be huge, particularly going forward because of the massive changes that are taking place in the health space. Now, you may be wondering, why does that matter with the health space? Well, those of you that are already working with JAG, you already know why that's going to be huge. And those that don't work with JAG, you may want to find out why, because the big, beautiful bill, not meaning to get political, set that aside, that passed is going to have a major impact on the insurance market that is going to create huge opportunities for those of us in the field. I truly do believe that. In fact, in my 25 years in the industry, and particularly the last 15, since the Affordable Care Act was passed, I don't think there's a better time to be in the industry than there has been today, at least in the last 15 years. So I'm real excited about that. So to give you a little bit of groundwork, Meteena and Neil, I believe it's probably going to be Meteena is the one that's going to be doing most of the presentation today. We're not going to be talking commissions. We have agency owners here with their downline on here. Reach out to your agency owner afterwards if you want to find out about commissions. Whoever invited you here, that's who you want to reach out to. If you received a direct invitation from us here at JAG, reach out to us as well. We can tell you we don't play games with commissions. I'm going to be upfront about that whatsoever. You own your book of business when you work with us directly. Your commissions and so forth are paid by the carriers and the people that we work with. So that part's not an issue, but you're going to want to work with your upline to talk with them about that. You're going to want to stay to the end, because everybody that stays to the end is going to be on the wheel of names, and somebody's going to win a gas card. We love to give away money for everybody that attends live, whether you ever work with us or not. Virtually every webinar we do that, at least that we host here at JAG, we're going to give away some money or something. Yes, we do lower ourselves, if you want to say that, to bribery to get you to come and look at some great products. So without further ado, I'm going to turn off my video, because you don't want to look at my ugly face for too long. And Meteena, I'm going to turn it back over to you. I'm going to share the screen with you,
All
and
right.
you can take it from here.
All right.
Oops.
Fantastic.
Let me,
Thank you so much, John, for that
well,
Hellraiser introduction. Neil and I love that. We're excited to be here. I'm excited to be here today to talk to you about InstaBrain. As you mentioned, many of the people that JAG works with, I think, have had some exposure, at least a little bit of exposure to InstaBrain and our platform, but I am here today as a refresher. to remind you of all of the unique features that InstaBrain brings you, and to share some new updates and some exciting things that have been going on here over the last 6 or 8 months. So as a refresher, I'm going to share my screen here. This is who InstaBrain is and what makes us different. So InstaBrain is an insurtech company. So we primarily exclusively focus on instant decision insurance sales. So right now, out of the gate, we're hosting 3 products. You may have been exposed to other instant decision platforms in the past. There were a lot of them that sprouted up after COVID. Everybody went to this kind of remote sales scenario, and instant decision became this hot buzzword in the industry. But what happened over time was instant decision became not so truly instant decision. Those sales were still seeing delays. There was a lot of RTUs. There were a lot of rescinded policies, and all kinds of issues. So InstaBrain has been watching that over the years. We have refined our process. We have refined our model. And I think what we're doing here is unique. And I think that you guys will appreciate that. So looking at my screen here, one of the things that sets us apart is we are truly instant decision. If you put an app in this morning, you will get an instant decision one way or the other. So you'll either get a policy number or you will, your client will not receive an offer. So every single time, decision. All of our applications and products are 100% digital. So they are on our platform. The instant decision term with living benefits is only available through the InstaBrain platform. That's an exclusive proprietary product that we'll talk a little bit more about. All of the products on our platform are designed to compete competitively and show up strong against fully underwritten products. So when you're looking at quoters, some of those quoters are showing InstaBrain products at the top of the grid. So you'll see our fully instant decision product, term with living benefits, standing up against those fully underwritten competitors. We also pledge service standards. So if, again, those of you that have had a history with instant decision platforms in the past, you may have struggled getting somebody on the phone or getting someone to respond to your email, getting information on your policy owners' policies. That's not the case at InstaBrain. So we are taking service standards very seriously. Our background is in insurance distribution, so we understand the critical role that agents play in the sales transaction. And so our job is to support you as you make the connections with your clients and put those business cases through. So let's talk a little bit about the products that are on the platform. So these are the 3 that we're featuring right now. So these are the ones that we launched with. We are currently contracted with Fidelity Life Association to offer these products. So as you know, Fidelity Life has been in the industry for ages and ages, 100 years or so. So they have great name recognition. They're an A- rated carrier. So your clients have that security. You have that name recognition. When your clients are issued a policy, they become a policy owner at Fidelity Life. So they have full access to Fidelity Life's website. They can manage their policies there. You as an agent have that access as well. You are contracted with Fidelity. So you are the agent of record on all of your sales through InstaBrain, which is another unique feature that we bring. So again, looking back at these products, the flagship product being the InstaBrain term with living benefits, very unique to get 100% instant decision term with living benefits. So you can get $1 million in coverage instantly. Going to 30 years, this product includes the chronic and terminal illness riders. Those riders are unique. There is no wait period, and there is no, those of you familiar with living benefits, you used to have to prove how ill you were. Like if you were going to accelerate a chronic illness rider, how sick are you? and an underwriter would evaluate that to determine what percentage of the death benefit you would get. That's not the case with this product. So it is a standard acceleration. So your client won't have to go through those hurdles to take advantage of those riders. We've got 4 rate classes, and the product is payable by EFT or credit card via the InstaBrain application. Note at the very bottom on all of these, the daily commissions bullet. So we have just pivoted, InstaBrain and Fidelity Life have just pivoted from a weekly commission schedule to daily. So now not only are you instant decision sales, we are doing a daily commission run. So if you place a policy today, you will probably get paid on that within 48 hours. So we're turning this stuff around really fast. I'm not going to dig too deeply into the other products on here. Let me see. We'll just take a look. The guaranteed issue, unique there in that it goes to age 85. A lot of those GI products drop off at age 80. Let's see, also payable by EFT or credit card, also on the daily commission schedule. And then if you look over to the left, the ADB. So if you take a look at these 3 products together, you'll see that we kind of have something here for everyone. So the term with living benefits, ages 18 to 60. If your client doesn't fall within that, we can pivot to the guaranteed issue to age 85. If you have a client with an underwriting concern, maybe some impaired risk, we're looking at an ADB sale. That's to 300,000. Note here towards the bottom, the optional return of premium rider. So also a very unique feature when you're looking at accidental death sales, to be able to include an ROP rider on that, that's huge. And no health license. So you don't need a health license to sell that ADB product. I see Neil is shaking his head. So if you have any questions about the products and where they fit in your sales funnel, he's the product expert guy. He's the position guy. He can help answer all of those questions and go deeper if you need it. So now let's take a look at how you get started and what you get out of the box. So I mentioned that with InstaBrain, you are contracted with the carrier. So you are the agent on all of your policies. Let's see. So the first step you'll do, as John mentioned, you'll run through your standard contracting workflow. So wherever you get all of your other carrier contracts, that's where you'll find Fidelity Life. So getting that carrier number as soon as it's issued by the carrier, as soon as Fidelity issues that number, InstaBrain is notified and will send out an invitation for you to create your InstaBrain user account. So what you're seeing on the screen now is the default dashboard for an InstaBrain account, an agent account. You'll see here that we have the quick start buttons for all of the products with start application options. In the upper right-hand corner, you'll see my InstaBrain website. So as an InstaBrain agent, you are set up with a direct-to-consumer sales channel, and that's what this is. So you create a URL where you can make direct-to-consumer sales. So you can put this in an email signature, in a marketing campaign, and when clients go there, I want to make sure I'm sharing the right screen. Can you see that consumer page, Neil?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, we see
Okay,
it.
perfect. So this is what consumers will see. So if you're going to put that link out there, they'll see this kind of page. It's got your branding in the upper left-hand corner. If we scroll down, it's got some information about the products, the riders, and it's got your contact information here at the bottom of the page. So this is your direct-to-consumer sales channel. If you've got super motivated individuals landing on this page, they can take this right through to a sale. So they can run a quote, they can go through the pre-qualification process. And if they're a relatively healthy individual without a lot of application disclosure, they can get through here in about 10 minutes or so, right to a policy number.
Hey, Meteena, can I stress something on that real quick?
Sure thing.
I think that is hugely powerful You put that in a newsletter to your clients. Think about this, is that you can send this link out. You can promote this to your clients. You can put it in a newsletter. You can, social media, whatever. They can go there, sign up directly, do the application themselves, goes through the system. They get approved. They get a policy. Guess who gets paid? You. How easy is that? How awesome is that? I mean, gosh, the industry, you guys have just done a great job of making the industry is just getting so much better, and InstaBrain is at the forefront of that. So I just wanted to point that out, is we promote that on our weekly newsletter or our monthly newsletter to our clients all the time.
And kind of an insider tip here, if you're thinking that you want to launch that direct to consumer campaign and do some targeted marketing, the agencies that are seeing the greatest success are targeting obviously those healthier markets, right? You want your consumer to have a really flawless, easy sales channel through here. They want to be able to get through the application. Many people, struggle with disclosing health conditions. And so, again, the agencies that are seeing the most success, they're targeting, fitness groups or people with a Peloton or, those kind of demographics, because they're the ones that can probably slide through this application and this instant decision sales channel the easiest. So a little insider baseball there. So this is, again, the dashboard. Taking a look at the left side navigation, you have all of your quoters standing up here. You have a prospects database. This is anybody that has run a quote on your site. You have your applications here. And I'm going to take a look here at the applications database. So as I mentioned, InstaBrain really wants to empower agents. So we want to give you the tools and resources you need to be successful with these sales. And that includes in your applications in progress, this kind of window into completion percentage. So this is really important here. If we take a look at this very top application for test client taken yesterday, we'll see that this application was 78% of the way completed. So it's in progress. The offer is standard extra due to height and weight. So we're seeing all of these insights to this application. And now my client has dropped off. So maybe this is an opportunity for me to make an outbound call to reach out to my client and see if there's something that I can help with or some questions that I can answer to help push this through to a sale. You'll see on the left-hand side here, I can resume the application. So this was an agent initiated. I can jump in here and maybe we can collaborate on that application with the consumer, or I can resend the link. So if maybe the client lost it in their inbox or what have you, I can resend via text or email to put it back at the top of the box. You'll have your sales database here. Table looks very similar. You have a resources library. So this contains all of the kind of how-to videos, how to connect with prospects. It has a products library, and this is where you'll find all the product guides. So the term with living benefits guide is here. This is the full guide. This contains all of the details on the riders. It contains the pre-qual questions and knockout health conditions. It's got the underwriting tables. It's got the build chart, state availability. The whole thing is here. Same thing for the GI product guide and the ADB product guide. Those are all in here as well. So going back to the applications. With InstaBrain Term, you have a couple of options to start an application. You can copy your offer link, your term with living benefits link. Maybe I just want to send a term application link to a specific consumer. I can do that here. They'll get it in their inbox, and this is an application link linked to your account that they can start and carry through themselves. You have the standard start application. This is a linear application. It's great for Zoom calls or video calls or when you have someone in your office, and we'll take a look at that in just a second. You have an e-app option, so that gives you a little bit of navigation flexibility on the application that we'll also look at, or invite customer. This is an email that's triggered from your InstaBrain user account, so it's got the InstaBrain branding at the top, but it does contain your contact information. It's kind of a nicely formatted marketing email where you can just fire that off from here. So let's take a look at this, what I consider the conversational UI application. So this is what it looks like at the outset. This is getting a quote of the InstaBrain term with living benefits. So I think there's 4 or 5 questions here to get that early quote. Again, this is consumer-facing language. So again, if you're on a Zoom call or have someone in your office, you know, we're talking rate classes here: excellent, great, good, or average. And this is the pre-quote or the pre-offer. So you can customize the death benefit with the toggles here. You can customize your term length. You can toggle on and off the optional riders. So this is an opportunity to have a discussion with your client about an ADB rider or a dependent child rider. You'll see in the right-hand corner here that the premium has updated, where I toggled on the ADB rider. So now we're looking at 4207. So that is on $500,000 for 20 years on a 35-year-old. So once you have these features dialed in to where you want them, then you'll continue into the pre-qualification section of the application. So the screen has changed up a little bit. The conversational UI is branded to you. So it's got your picture here or your logo here, however you customize your portal. You'll see in the right-hand corner is a quote card. And this is a fully reflexive quote card. And we'll see how this works. As you're interacting with the application, this will change in real time to show you the status of this offer. So we'll just answer a few questions here. It's important to know in the instant decision space that there is no RTU opportunity. So you will never see a refer to underwriter offer or status on your InstaBrain applications. And so what that means, though, is that you need to be very diligent in your interviews with your client. So essentially, you become the underwriter. Application disclosure is very important. And this is where a lot of the early trials of the InstaBrain portal and application kind of struggled because people were coming through here and they were checking no to all of the boxes. No, there's no health concerns. No, there's no DMV concerns. No, there's none of this. And what happens, though, is that application disclosure may present discrepancies in what we're pulling for third-party data. So keep in mind that every InstaBrain application is going to check MVR, we're going to check MIB, we're going to check physician statements, we're going to check labs. We're doing a full digital footprint on your client. We're going to take that data and we're going to look at your application disclosure. And we need to see like synchronicity in the data that's being provided. So for example, if my client has high blood pressure, but I don't disclose that on the application, it's going to come back in medical records. Maybe they had a lab, or maybe they had an ER visit for elevated blood pressure. The application is going to do one of a couple of things. It's either going to decline it because the discrepancy is too great to make an instant decision offer, or it could come back and present another follow-up question to your consumer that says, hey, in 2022, did you see Dr. So-and-so for any of the following? And it will present a random list of conditions trying to prompt additional disclosure from your consumer. That's an opportunity for them to disclose this doctor's visit or this irregular reading and present a current update on where they are today. So that's what we're trying to get to, is what is their health condition today? So if I had a high blood pressure reading a year ago, Fidelity and InstaBrain are interested in where your client is today. And without that application disclosure, it makes it very hard to get that full picture. So app disclosure is important. Looking back at the application we see on the screen here, we're talking about a fully reflexive application. So if I go in here and I am disclosing build, so 5'6" and 200, we'll see the rate card. There was no change here. I'm still at a preferred rate class. But if my client is 5'6" and 225, we'll see the rate class change in the upper right-hand corner. So this is an app in progress. My rate now is at a standard extra due to weight, height and weight due to my build. And if I click next to lock this answer in, we'll see a requote presented on the screen. So now, due to the answer that I provided in the pre-qual, my rate class is now standard extra. My premiums have changed from $39.90 to $60.55 due to that disclosure. I can make changes here. So maybe I'm super stoked and $60 is still within my budget. Maybe I want to dial up the death benefit, or maybe I want to dial it back, that this is maybe a little bit over. I can do that here and then accept and continue. So again, this is a fully reflexive application. We're going to, drill into, if you disclose on the health conditions that, my client does have high blood pressure, we're going to ask if they were hospitalized, do they know their numbers? When was the last time they saw their doctor? Are they taking meds? So all of those drill down questions are located on this application. I want to pivot over to the e-app. So I talked about the e-application and how it gives you a little bit more flexibility. So when you're doing an e-app, this allows you to target areas of concern. So the first thing we'll do on the e-app is get the quote. So 35-year-old female. Choose some death benefit here and then generate the quote. And now you'll see on the left-hand side, these navigation options are open. So I can click right into the health section. If I want to disclose a health condition, I can do that here. If I want to go to travel, or if I have a driving disclosure I need to do, I can do that here as well. We want to disclose our marijuana user. So we can go directly to this section of the application and do that disclosure and see what kind of effect it's going to have on the offer without having to go question by question and getting all the way to what you see is like nearly the end of the app. So we're not vaping, we are botanical, how many times per month, 2 to 12. So you'll see here now, again, interacting with the rules of the product. We are presented with a requote due to this application disclosure. We have gone from a preferred rate class to a standard extra rate class based on marijuana disclosure. We're at 49.16. Again, make changes, accept and continue. So now as the agent, I have answered the drug use section. I can now send this application in progress to my consumer if they want to complete the rest of it. So using this Kick It tool, I can send them a link. They'll get this in their inbox or via mobile. They'll be able to open the link and they'll start the application and be asked any question that I have not already completed myself. So that Kick It technology is available on every page of the application. So at any time, you can send this in-process application to your consumer for completion.
Meteena,
Your consumer,
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
But the agent can complete it with this is a question just for me. The agent can complete it with the client. They don't have to kick it to them to complete the application, correct?
Right. So right now in the application that we are showing today, your client will have to do HIPAA disclosure and authorize those third-party database checks. They are the ones that need to do the DocuSign, they'll need to sign their app and they'll need to submit their payment details. We are working on an application update right now, John, that will change this workflow a little bit. So you will have the ability to send the HIPAA authorization and third-party data disclosure link to your consumer at any time in the application. They can, for them, it's just a simple authorization. They open the page, they can read the documents, they click authorize, and then that part is done. And then that allows you as the agent to do the rest of the application without having to send them this in-process app link. So that application update is coming soon. I anticipate within the next 20 to 30 days, we'll see an updated process here.
Right.
But right now, your client does need to complete those last 3 steps.
All right, thank you.
But it happens pretty fast, right? So if I have somebody on the phone or in my office and I use this Kick-It link, I can, again, we can send via text or email or both. And if I do that, if I click send, we'll see that this is going to close the application for me as the agent. And I am opening my phone. And I am opening my phone. And I already have the link. So the blue link here. So I already have that in my inbox. It doesn't take long to get that. So it's not an uncomfortable wait if you have someone on the phone or someone in your office that they're waiting for this authorization link to come through. So it's, still within a comfortable range for you to keep this conversation going. Okay, so then you've made your sales. All of InstaBrain policies, as I mentioned, are underwritten by Fidelity Life. So the policy, the enforced policy is communicated to Fidelity. All of your enforced activities are done with Fidelity Life. So policy owner services is done over at Fidelity. You are paid by the carrier. You do your production reports and commission statements are at Fidelity Life. So you are a contracted agent over there. You have full access to all of their resources. I think, did I hit everything, Neil? John, did I leave anything out?
I believe so. One thing I just wanted to dive into a little bit when you were talking about the transparency on the applications. What I've seen is, so when a client is taking a certain medication, right, if they're not disclosing that on the application, and I was talking to a nurse the other day actually about the InstaBrain application and software, and she was talking about this. One medication can be used for how many different reasons, right? One medication can be used for 10 different reasons in hospitals, prescriptions, right? We see a lot now with Ozempic, what it's really being used for versus, what it was meant to be used for. So that's where the transparency comes in, why it's so important on the InstaBrain application. Because if the client doesn't disclose that they're taking a medication and then the reason why they're taking it, the people on the back end, they're going to say, hey, well, this could be used for this reason, this reason, this reason. We don't know. And then they're not going to be able to provide the client with a favorable offer. And so that's just one thing I wanted to stress, and how we're seeing here at Brokers Alliance, our agents having a ton of success now with InstaBrain is by providing and digging deeper with the clients to provide that transparency on the applications to provide the best experience for both the client and the agent as well.
100%. And that's a great, great point. So yes, we are aware of the multi-use for medications and prescriptions. And that's why you won't find a medications list in the term of living benefits product guide. So a number of agents have asked for that, but it's becoming more and more difficult, right? We're not going to knock out on a single prescription because it could have multiple uses. That's where the health questions come in, though. That's where it's critical that you have that conversation with your client to disclose what the reason is for the prescription. So, right, there is a prescription out there that could be used for seizures, for epilepsy, seizure medication, but it could also be used for migraine. So which of those is applicable to your client? That's where you want to disclose the health condition and then answer the subsequent questions to get to that medication, as opposed to, you won't find a medication question on this application. We're not approaching it from that angle. We would rather have full disclosure of your client's health and drill down to meds than have a med disclosure and try to work backwards. So that's more important to us than, trying to knock your client out for a specific prescription.
All right. I think we have one question, which I answered,
Okay.
but I think it's a question everybody asks. Is the InstaBrain term convertible to a permanent policy?
So right now we don't have a conversion option, but we are all over Fidelity Life. So we are actively having talks with them about what they can present for us, what we can stand up as a quality offer, a quality product for your clients. So we are deep in talks with Fidelity and looking to get something stood up, hopefully by the start of 2026.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, there's very few term living benefits, first of all, and very few that are actually convertible. We have a couple, but it's something that I know the agents definitely want to look forward to, especially those that understand the importance of having a policy that can convert.
100%.
God forbid
100%.
something happen. But
Totally agree.
but just keep in mind too, is in a lot of cases, even with living benefits platforms, even if it's convertible to a permanent policy with no underwriting, the living benefits portion may not be convertible on that new policy based on health conditions. Most carriers still underwrite the living benefits portion even on conversion policies. So just keep that in mind as well. What we have found is the ease of InstaBrain and the platform to be able to utilize this to get clients policies quick. We're in that fast society now. I want it now. I want a decision now. Think about it. 5 years ago, it was 2, 3, 4 months before we got a decision on something. In fact, we have a record, believe it or not, here at JAG. It took 1 year and 1 month to get a client approved with one carrier, a very well-known carrier. I'm not going to mention them. We all know them. 1 year and 1 month to get somebody approved prior to the pandemic. That's our record. And now we're spoiled. If it takes more than 2 weeks now, we're upset.
Right. It's true. So true.
What a great thing though, to be able to have an instant decision. But we keep in mind too, that instant decision is instant approval or instant decline.
Right.
So that's why it's so important, as Meteena said. It's very, very important. We're going to have to be a little bit more due diligent when it comes to asking those health questions. And I think most of the instant decision platforms are going that way, that they're going to really rely on the field rep, the field agent, to dig a little bit deeper, get those questions answered. We all get clients that say, no, I'm perfectly healthy. My doctor says I have blood pressure, but I don't take meds for it. I don't have high blood pressure. Well, in the system, guess what? You have high blood pressure. And it's not necessarily going to hurt you on the approval necessarily. So just put it in there. I use me as an example. I've been on high blood pressure meds since I was the age of 50. I don't have high blood pressure. I really don't. My last reading without taking the med was 123/77. I don't have high blood pressure, but most men 50 and older, they're put on that maintenance because it's just it's maintenance. But I can't sit here and say I don't have high blood pressure because I'm taking meds but it hasn't helped me. Hurt me. I still got preferred ratings. Right. On the carriers. So just keep that in mind. You are the field underwriter. The insurance carriers are trusting us to do the right thing in the field more and more as the technology it gets there. In fact, I just read an article on Insurance News Net this morning that just came out that the vast majority of carriers are really deep diving into AI. Everybody wants to get to instant decisions. Now that may not be good for the underwriters and so forth, the carriers, because they may not need them as much, but it's great for the field. And I think that truly is the direction of the industry. And InstaBrain and Meteena and her organization and Neil and Brokers Alliance, they're on the forefront of bringing that to the field. So just keep that in mind. And like Meteena said, it's not for everybody. We talk about that on many of our products. InstaBrain's not necessarily for everybody. Do the right thing. Ask some probing questions before you even start an app. Get an idea of whether that person's going to be able to qualify for an true instant decision, approved or declined product before you actually do the app. There's other alternatives out there. If you're working with JAG, you know all those alternatives. If you're not working with JAG, or if you're working with Brokers Alliance or somebody else, I'm sure that they have other vehicles to be able to help that client out. But there are millions of people that will qualify for InstaBrain by Fidelity. And I just think it's going to be a game changer product well, I know it is, because there's another company that's really moved in that direction. Meteena's shaking her head. I think she knows which one I'm talking about. That just came out with an instant decision, $1 million product as well, kind of copying what InstaBrain's already done. And that really is the direction of the industry. And I'm just super stoked and excited that Meteena and Neil with Brokers Alliance are bringing that to our group here at JAG and to the market in general. So I truly thank you both for that.
I wanted to, if I have just another moment, John, share some stuff that we're working on. So
please.
I mentioned the changes that are coming to the application. So we recognize that agents want to get that disclosure out of the way up front. So we're working on that. But we're also working on, we talked about underwriting and the depth of the product. The InstaBrain Term with Living Benefits product that you see on the platform today goes to table 2. So we did see some of those impaired risk clients struggle at the outset. How much of the population has diabetes, particularly diabetics, right? Everybody's looking for a place to put their diabetic clients. It was a struggle to get them in at a table 2 product instant decision. So we heard that. We went back to Fidelity Life. We are now working on putting the final touches on another proprietary product, this one called Pure Term. Pure Term strips off the living benefits, but it's super, super competitive price-wise, and it will go to table 4. So we'll be able to accommodate more of those clients that have, the more concerning high blood pressure or the more concerning diabetes and et cetera. So we'll be able to find a place for them and an instant decision sale for them using this Pure Term product. Pure Term should be available by the end of 2025. So we are that close to launching it. We're also looking at a final expense product and getting that stood up this year as well. And let me see, we talked about daily commissions, and I think those are the highlights for the coming soon.
And just an FYI, your final expense, guaranteed issue final expense to age 85, that is JAG's only final expense product for those between age 81 and 85 that's on a guaranteed issue basis. Every other guaranteed issue product we have only goes up to age 80, as Meteena said. So nice, right? That is an advantage. And also, keep in mind, when you're talking guaranteed issue between age 81 and 85, you're not going to get these huge commissions on it. Do the right thing for your client. It's going to lead to referrals. And I'll tell you the story. This is a true story. Now, I'm about 40 miles east of LA. There's a city called Blythe out in the far east of California. It's on the border of Arizona. It's almost 2 hours away from here. This is when we first launched JAG. I still sell, by the way. That's the only way I can train. I drove out there because nobody else would drive out there. Nobody would drive out. Back then, you had 15, 20 years ago, you had to drive and do belly to belly. And I drove out there with my wife. We had never been to Blythe. We knew it was only going to be a $2,000 policy. It was $15.12 a month. True story, because she's still with us today, believe it or not, as well. So we went out and wrote a $15.12 policy. Who would do that, right? Well, guess what? We got 7 referrals from that client, 6 of which sold and became clients of ours. So don't do things. I'm just a firm believer, you create a value proposition for your client. You got a value proposition for yourself. Just do the right thing and trust me, it will pay off. Don't worry about, this product pays 5, 10, 15% less than this other. Do the right thing for your client and trust me, long-term it will pay off. And we've written a few of the 81 to 85 final expense products on InstaBrain because it's the right thing to do. So just keep that in mind when it comes to products. Is if you find a good product, I don't care whether it's 10% less in commission that they pay or 20%, whatever it is. If it's the right product in your portfolio for your client, you offer it, because trust me, that client's going to be happy, because there's a lot of folks out there that do things, unfortunately, based on commission only. You need to do things that are right for the client and right for you. It's got to be a win-win value proposition for you and value proposition for the client, both going both ways. And I think that's what InstaBrain brings to the table. And you'll find that out when you talk with your upline about commissions and so forth like that. I think InstaBrain's a win-win for both the client and for the agent. Just my opinion.
Thank
Love
you
it.
for sharing that, John.
Oh,
Love
you're welcome. All right, let's see. You guys have Neil, do you have anything else?
I think we got it all. If anyone's looking to get contracted, right, reach out to you, John, and then we'll get those
Yes.
facilitated. It's a very fast turnaround time, especially now in the industry for InstaBrain. So
Yeah. Yeah. We'll send you a link. All you got to do is email us at agentsupport@jag-ia.com, agentsupport@jag-ia.com. We'll get you the link to get contracted. Now, it does only cost $6 billion to join JAG. I mean, that's how we make I'm kidding. You know, I thought,
Smoking deal.
yeah, there you go. I've had 3 agent interviews this week, and all of them asked me, what does it cost to join JAG? Well, in my opinion, if you got to pay an upline to join the upline, run. You
Exactly.
shouldn't have to pay anybody to. I mean, you got to pay for your license, you got to pay for your E&O, but you shouldn't have to pay for training. You shouldn't have to pay for joining somebody. You shouldn't have to split your commission to learn the product. Come on. That's what we offer. There's no split commissions. We're not going to charge anything. We're going to give you great direct contracts, and we're going to be there to support you and help you succeed, whether you write one application a year or 1,000 applications a year. But we'll love you more if you write 1,000. Just saying.
Absolutely.
No, we won't. We treat everybody the same. I'm just kidding.
John.
I'm just kidding. Then we have people on this call that have been with us for 20 plus years. So I appreciate y'all taking time out of your busy schedule. Do not hang up. I'm going to stop recording.
Yeah.
We're going to do a spin for those that remained. So the 8 that remained through the entire session out of the 24 that came, you're going to have a chance at a gift card. So I'm going to turn off the recording.